herb in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. I need some meditation in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain. Hey, no, this could never be no man killer. Good for my head, so me call it as the man healer. When me ill, you know me never need a painkiller. It's quite exciting, me call it as the man chiller. Give me good man, so me no think illa. What a inspiration, fit on a sound killer. For the pagan, me spark it like a 9 miller. Fi fight the liquor and the coke, ganja and the pillar. That's why me need some herb in my brain. So bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain.
This is my island in the sun, where my people have toiled since time begun. I may sail on many a sea, her shores will always be home to me. My mother was born in the parish of St. Anne. My father comes from St. Elizabeth. But since my mother was the dominating force in the family, when at the age of 1 year old, she decided to bring her children to Jamaica, because I was born in the United States, in Harlem, in New York. And she decided that the wilds of New York was not the zone she wanted her children in. She wanted to have us in the wilds of Jamaica. So she took us back to this island, and I grew up in Abuka, and for the first few years. And then I came down to Kingston and spent the rest of my time living in Kingston. I always saw that the destiny of Jamaica was inextricably bound to the destiny of Black Americans, and vice versa. And that fact alone kept me very connected.
Come with me down in Jamaica. The most wonderful.
Jamaica made an impact on the world through Bob Marley and reggae. All of the world record holders in the Olympics seem to be Jamaicans. I remember Hubert Humphrey coming down to Jamaica. I think the Kennedys came down to Jamaica. It was just the place to go.
Come with me down in Jamaica. Live your life in paradise and have some fun.
I was from the South, and the Caribbean was the first place I'd ever been where black people were running anything. It was a thrill to go to Jamaica and to see black policemen. We didn't have black policemen in Atlanta then. I used to come back regularly with Martin Luther King because he liked Jamaica. In fact, most of his books were written in Jamaica. He would go to Jamaica just about every year.
Jamaica's independence was extremely important to me. In New York City, my mother was a very strong Garveyite. She loved Marcus Garvey. We went to rallies in which Marcus Garvey spoke. When I came to Jamaica in that youthful period of my life, Bustamante was very busy giving the British a difficult time in their rule of the island. So I was always around an environment that rebelled against its oppression, and that alone gave me linkage. Now when you talk about the culture and the music and the art, that was so indelible to my experience, and it became so central to my own cultural expression that there was just no question that I was a Jamaica man and would wind up being that for the rest of my life.
But I'm sad to say
in the history of the record business, the first LP to ever sell 1 million records within a year was the album entitled Calypso. And the phenomena of that was so enormous that RCA, the company that I recorded for, gave me what was considered to be the first gold record in the history of the business, and really set the stages for what ultimately became the Grammy. And every time I look at these awards, I can say, well, that record that reflected the culture of that remarkable place called Jamaica was the forerunner of all of this, and I take great pride in that.
Well, in Montego Bay. Montego Bay, I was last year on vacation 40 years ago. In fact, I was celebrating a big record I had then, grazing in the grass. had had a major tour, and somebody said, go to Montego Bay, you know, and so I came out here. I never forgot it. There's just sort of a spiritual, ancestral ambience, you know, an environment here. I can feel, even when I first came, I could feel the past, you know, I could feel like the Africanness of it. And Jamaica is one of those countries where the African spirit lives forever, very intensely.
I've been waiting for Jamaica to set some new trends for the 21st century.
Well, I don't think that life will ever be as full in its meaning to me if I have a life that is without a song. Music is very, very central to my existence, to my passion, to my joy. I also find it as an instrument of great communication. I mean, when you see 50,000 people in Germany singing Deo, and you look at 25,000 Japanese singing Deo, it tells you something about the power of the song, especially the songs that come out of a buka.
Deo, Deo.
Daylight come and me one go.
Revolutionary greetings to the people of South Africa, Africa and the whole world. To all progressive forces, receive revolutionary greetings from your own organization based in South Africa. My name is Julius Malema, President of the EFF, an organization that existed for almost a decade. We're speaking here. Our organization will be celebrating 10 years of unbroken struggle, 10 years of anti-corruption, 10 years of fighting racism, 10 years of being in the forefront for the land, 10 years of making sure that the African people are represented without fear or favor, 10 years of ensuring that black professionals are not looked down but rather are respected and treated as their counterparts. We need resources to finance this organization. Without resources, this organization will never succeed. It depends on genuine donations and contributions from peace-loving South Africans and revolutionaries from the African continent and the diaspora. We call upon all of you to make donations to the EFF, because we must finance our own revolution. If we don't finance our revolution, counter-revolution will hijack it. You want to donate 10 Rand, SMS 38172. You want to donate 20 Rand, SMS 40090. You want to donate 30 Rand, SMS 42191. Or you want to donate on the website, go on EFFonlinedonation.org. It is possible, it is in our hands that the organization formed by black people can remain genuine organization that continues to represent black people. Let's make it possible, revolutionaries. I thank you.
Why am I worrying about Africa for? 20,000 miles away. What good is that for me? You know why? Because as Africa goes, so goes all African people. I've been all over the world, brothers and sisters. And guess what I've learned? Wherever I go, European Jews are respected. Wherever I go, European Jews got power. You know why? Because Israel is respected and Israel got power. Wherever I go, Chinese are respected. Chinese are in an economic power position. Chinese are always upheld and treated with respect and reverence. You know why? Because China is powerful. Why do East Indians get respect around the world? Because India is powerful. And guess what? Wherever you go in the world, African people are disrespected and ignored, even in Africa. You will never be respected. I don't care where you move to in this world until Africa is respected. That's why Africa matters. You want to know why black folks get killed by the police in broad daylight and nothing happens? Who gonna speak up for you? What African country gonna stand up and say the next time you kill one of mine in your country, don't come over here looking for no gas. Next time you kill one of mine in your country, don't come over here looking for no oil. Next time you kill one of mine in your country, don't come over here looking for no diamonds or no coltan. Next time you kill one of mine in your country, you ain't getting another piece of mineral from under my soil. Because remember, the African continent is the only continent that can survive without any other continent. No other continent can survive without Africa. There is no military without Africa. There's no atomic bombs without Africa. There's no cell phone or no internet without Africa. The most essential minerals necessary for the military and technological age are under the ground in Africa. Can you name a single country, Africa, Central or South America, anywhere in the Caribbean, where we are in control of our own economics? Anybody? There's not one. There is no black economy on earth ran by black people. And there is no liberation for African people until we get control of our economics. And I want you young people to hear me. Slavery stole from African people the natural God-given desire to control your own destiny. Do you realize we're the only people not concerned about controlling our own community? We're the only people not concerned about controlling our own destiny. As soon as the Chinese show up on the shores of America, soon as an Arab shows up on the shores of America, Soon as an East Indian shows up on the shores of America, they build in their own communities. They're looking for a piece of a city to call their own shops, their own businesses, their own import, export, and all we want to do is look good. Half y'all in here, soon as you get your student loan check, you in New York City shopping because you want to look good. Looking good is more important than having power. African people, we in pursuit of money. White people in pursuit of power.
I will go into more details about my suggestions about locations and so on. And there are African countries that are good examples of Pan-Africanism. I will just mention a few, like Namibia. Recently, I saw a thing about Namibia, and I was so pleasantly surprised to see that Namibia, they fly both the AU or OAU flag and the Namibia flag. Also, the anthems of both countries are played at major events. Sometime at the start of the event, usually the OAU anthem or AU anthem is played, then the Namibia, and then Namibian anthem, and then at the end of the event, they would do it the other way around. Namibia first and the OAU anthem after that. So in countries like Namibia and Rwanda and Ghana, just to mention a few, with leaders who are setting the example for Pan-African cooperation. And it's increasing. It's more countries, more leaders, more people, and it's getting better and better over time. So I'm asking for your help in spreading the word. Please make your comments in the comment section of this video, and in future episodes I am going to make more suggestions and would love your comments also. And we have to remember that the I forgot to mention, I wanted to mention the recent meeting, the cooperation and people working together, like the recent meeting between Brother Akon and Dr. Arikana. It's a wonder. Brother Akon is doing so much good work in Africa, and it's a good example of cooperation. Also at that meeting was Brother Jesse Holland, writer of the Wakanda novel, and he was involved in the Wakanda One movie. Again, recently I saw Woody Maya interview Dr. Arikana. And there are other people and other organizations like the US Black Chamber of Commerce that we need to work together, cooperate, work together. The US Black Chamber of Commerce and the US Legal Association that participated, was well represented and participated in the launching of the Wakanda One project in Ghana by the ADDI at the end of last year. So I just want to say we need to grow, to increase, to continue to get our struggle for a we need the black economic power movement. Reparations now for slavery and colonialism to plant and grow black businesses, not for consumption. Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. United we stand, but divided we fall. Okay, thank you, and please subscribe, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and take care. Until next time.
Cooling on a couch, watching TV. No, I'm feeling nothing but lazy. Feeling to somebody, nothing else to do. Might as well go to the board and drop something brand new. Living on the dice, throwing shit down. Making me vibe to the sound. About to stop. Hungry, then I'm up for the clock now. Cause I found out you liking this. Don't you want it back? Don't you want it back? Don't you want it?
Of DRC. What's wrong with your country? Well, we don't even start by saying the King of Belgium created a slave colony for 30 years. The government of Belgium ran the slave colony for another 40 years. The CIA assassinated your first popular leader, Mr. Lumumba, and then installed another dictatorship for the next 30 years. And then Glencore and others now suck out your cobalt without giving you tax income. We don't reflect on that. We say, what's wrong with you? Why don't you govern properly? And so we have a system, but we need a different system. We cannot turn this over to the private sector. We already did about 100 years ago. Not only to the private sector with the U.S. military behind it, with the defense of these property rights in the Minister of Honduras's country, where United Fruit ran the country for a long time, and their attorney was the foreign minister of the United States, Secretary Dulles, and his brother was the head of the CIA and overthrew the next door neighbor, Mr. Arbenz, to make sure that United Fruit could have its property. So we have a system, but we need a different system. And the different system has to be based on principles of human dignity in the Universal Declaration, principles of sovereignty, principles of economic rights, because these are not nice things to do. In 1948, all the government said that food is a right, social protection is a right, not a nice thing, not a pleasant thing, a right. That was 73 years ago. The SDGs are nothing more than our generation's attempt to honor the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I come from a country that not only doesn't care about the world's poor, it doesn't even care about its own poor. 1 in 7 Americans is hungry right now, and they don't care. I mean, the poor people care, but one political party, all it cares about is cutting taxes for the rich and filibustering any solution. So we're in a world that's really tough. The private sector's not going to solve this problem. I'm sorry to say to all of the private sector leaders, behave, pay your taxes, follow the rules. That's what you should do. And what the governments should do is the following. They won't, but they should. First, the G20 should become the G21 by inviting systemically the chairperson of the African Union and the African Union to be the 21st country. The European Union is a member of the G20 as the EU. If you add the AU as the 21st for the G21, you add 1.4 billion people to representation at that crucial event. That will change decisively the discussion, because 1.4 billion people are not at the table for finance right now, and they need to be. So my first recommendation is the G21. I love the G20. Add one seat, 1.4 billion people with the AU represented. Second, We need a
Well then, I grade. Me need ya, hey. I need some herb in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. I need some meditation in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain. Break up all the circles and the chain. Hey, no, this could never be no man killer.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.
I always get high. I used to get high, and I used to always lose my diamonds and my chain. I might give it away to somebody.
Stealing it.
Yeah, I didn't worry about that because I had so much money. I would go to Cuba, right? And listen to this shit, right? I'm in Jamaica for a while with some friends. Then I leave Jamaica and go to Cuba. I'm in Cuba. This is crazy. I get high. I'm fighting in my hallway. I'm hitting people with the lamp. I'm just fighting. And so everybody was worried in America that I'm in Cuba, something was gonna happen. And Fidel Castro said, "Leave him alone. He's just relaxing and he's having fun. So don't talk to him. Don't touch him." And then that's the Castro said that. So I just did whatever I want. So this guy saw me in the street. "Mike Tyson, what are you doing here?" I said, "I'm just enjoying. I have to go back to Jamaica." He said, "No, come." So he brought me to his house. It was a dump, but very clean. And he said, "You need a woman." I said, "Oh, really?" I said, "Maybe." And he said, "1 minute." So he went, and it was just decrepit rock, big boat, just bricks. It was like a missile hit it. And coming out of this decrepit brick building is a beautiful woman. I said, "Oh, shit." And she came out of this disgusting place, and she was beautiful, clean. I said, "Holy shit." And so, but they so poor. And so I said, "Fuck it." After we hung out and I had to go, give them a chain. I gave them everything. I gave them my money. Because, no, when you see that condition, nigga, they're never going to have what you gave them.
Nah, for sure. Sure.
Oh, shit, man. That's really some depressing shit.
That's dope.
So when you go to certain countries I go to, you see people with nothing.
Right.
You see like 6-year-old kids playing with pigs, 400 pounds. The scary as a motherfucker. They're smacking it, jumping on it, running on it.
Exactly. Fearless. They fearless out there.
I'm scared to death of this monster. I'm very grateful with my life.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Sometimes I go through bad times and I say, "Damn, this guy don't walk. This guy's never gonna eat like I ate."
Exactly.
I become very grateful as I get older in life.
We started growing food because we got tired of hearing about all the chemicals in our produce. We started raising animals because we got tired of hearing all the unethical practices that, ranchers and commercial meat was doing. We started making our own medicine because we got tired of hearing how much Big Pharma was in control of making people sick. We started baking our own breads because we got sick and tired of the bread not being moldy. We started taking our power back, and we started to connect with other growers in our area, and we started to create an intentional community. We started to create this community based off other people who were sick and tired in the same fashion. Other people who were baking bread, making soaps, deodorants, and growing their own food in the same right, simply because they were sick and tired of being sick and tired. We started to build an intentional community of growers, bakers, and makers. The app Farm Fresh 24/7 is literally an app that puts you in connection, direct connection to growers, bakers, and makers in that intentional community that we're all desiring to live in. But it doesn't have the burden of intentional community, in that you have to go buy acreage and move off grid and figure out all these new skills. We can still utilize where we are right now and pivot on our own to a more ethically produced, nutrient dense, access for all food system. If you are into those things, check out that Farm Fresh 24/7 app. This is literally how I'm meeting growers, bakers, and makers in my area. This app is promoting hyper-local food systems. That means a food system where, if not all, but most of your items on a monthly basis can be procured within a 50-mile radius. This means that you're getting the highest quality produce, the highest quality hygiene items. Why? Because you're shopping with people just like you. And the best part is, you don't even have to shop in exchange with money. 9 times out of 10, these people are open to bartering. Why? Because we're living the same lifestyle, and it's hard to do everything. If you can find someone in your area to make bread, and you can now focus on another adjunct, you don't have to make bread anymore. So this app is really putting us in position to where we can actually call the shots on our own. We can actually ask people exactly what they're putting in their soil, exactly what they're fertilizing with, exactly what they're baking with their bread, and we're having amazing results from the inside out. You should definitely check out this Farm Fresh 24/7 app. It functions just like any other marketplace. It's free to join, free to create a profile, free to make posts. And it literally puts you in the arena of everyone in your area who's seeking to live just like you are.
Well then, I grade. Me need ya, hey. I need some herb in my brain, so bring the medication for my brain to heal the whole of the nation from the pain and break up all the circles and the chains. I need some meditation.
This segment is about the largest companies in Africa, the top 50 in 2018. And this segment is about those that were owned by African governments or African citizens being the majority shareholders. Next country is South Africa. And South Africa had 4 companies owned by the government or publicly traded with major shares by South African nationals, most likely by white South Africans. It had South Africa had approximately 27 headquarters of the 50 mostly multinational corporations operating inside Africa and outside, but located in South Africa, their head office. Because these MNC, they were comfortable in being established and operating in South Africa during the apartheid system. And of course, the South African economy has not changed. Economic apartheid is still strong. I'm going to say just as strong. All the information is that economic apartheid is as strong today, 2023 in South Africa, as it was before the end of apartheid. The first of these 4 companies it's number 19 on the top 50 list of companies in Africa, and it's called Engen Petroleum. The next one is Transnet, and it's number 24 of the top 50. This one is a state-owned enterprise that was founded in 1990. It's a very big South Africa. It operates the South African port, mainly South African port, rail, and pipeline in South Africa. Number 42 of the 50 is Telkom, and this is also it's involved in telecommunication. Number 45 of the 50 is Transnet Freight Rail, and this is a state-owned, government-operated company in South Africa. It is one of the biggest cargo handlers in Africa and runs a national transport system in countries like Botswana, Lesotho, Tanzania, Swaziland, and Namibia. So the totals for these countries mentioned before is 12 companies of the 50 companies with the biggest revenue in 2018 were owned by, only 12 companies of the 50 were owned by African governments or had African majority shareholders. There are two other companies I will mention on this list. Number 51, Ethiopian Airlines, and it's owned by the Ethiopian government, founded in 1945 and has been operating successfully since then. It has had over 16,000 employees in 2018, and its revenue is approximately it's over $2 billion US, and its operation, it operates not only in Africa, but it also operates in North America, Europe, South America, Asia, and the Middle East. The other company that I'm going to mention, large company in Africa, is Safari.com. And this is located, its head office is located in Kenya, and it's owned mainly by African nationals. Yes, Safari.com. And I'm going to do a more detailed video either later this month or soon after about this particular company. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Till next time.
Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your contacts. Thank you.